Thank you so much for joining the Sue Free Show, and I'm so grateful and thankful to be with you today. Today, I come to you with so much information in my head and a change in my heart that I'm hoping I can be articulate enough to deliver the message that I think God wants to be delivered. Because this isn't, and it ever has been, about Sue Fries. It's about you. And I really desire for there to be a change, a new understanding of who you are in Him, but also how your past, I gotta turn that off. How your past does affect you, how it does affect you, and how we need to deal with things. You know, it's like how you come to the event, whatever it is, and how you show up. And I learned some things about me, experiential, on how I show up, just based on my feelings and my reactions to things and my responses. And if you've ever said to yourself, wow, where did that come from? Why did I feel that way? Or why did I act like that? And then you have to go back and apologize. Have you ever had that, where you've had to go back and apologize? I would rather not have to apologize. Not that I will apologize anytime that I do something that I feel that I have a part and I have something that I need to apologize for. I'm definitely going to apologize, and we all should, of course. But if I can get to the point where I think before I speak, and I put that filter on and ask myself, is this going to be beneficial for me to speak what I have on my mind or in my heart? And sometimes it's not. It's better just to be quiet and not say it. And it takes emotional maturity, I think, to get to the point where you realize, is this going to be beneficial? Is this going to help in any way? And if it's not, then why say it? My mom used to say, if you don't have something nice to say, Sue, just don't say it. I'm like, that's so easy, right? So simple. But sometimes we forget that. So I'm going to give you a little bit of a history or a background of where this is all coming from. Is I've been through a lot of things, just as you. We all have our personal stories, for sure. And I've done a lot of work. And I've forgiven those that have trespassed against me, which is a big deal. And it starts in the head, and then your heart follows. So just know that. You know, it's like, I don't feel like forgiving them. Yeah, I didn't either. But I realized that if I did it out of my head, just made a choice, and then my body would follow, and that's what happened. So I give you that to help you, step over that line and give the forgiveness to those that have trespassed against you. And then you want to also forgive yourself. You might have made some bad choices in your life. You know, most people do. You know, we all fall short. That's what He tells us in the Bible. So when we do that, we can beat ourselves up for as long as we want to. And we might not even know we're doing it. But as long as we beat ourselves up and don't forgive us, we cannot be freed, whether it's forgiving another person or forgiving ourselves. We can't be freed to receive what God has for us. I don't know about you, but, you know, I'm at the second half of my life. I'm in the second half. I don't know who you are, and I don't know where you are in your age, in your maturity, in your wisdom, and in your pain. Because we all have that too. And we all have a protective layer. We don't want to get hurt. We do everything we can to keep us from feeling hurt. Now, where does that come from? It comes from not feeling loved, not feeling accepted, not feeling, having no power. And I learned all of this because I just went through this experiential week, which I'm going to have the person that puts that on, she's going to come in and talk to us about it. And that's not going to happen for a couple of months, but she's going to make time to come share things with us. And I'm really looking forward to that. So to roll back the clock just a little bit is last week, the company, Ecola, had their annual company meeting. It's a 2-day meeting, and it takes a lot of money, a lot of preparation, a lot of time. And we put this 2-day event on, and the purpose of it is to get unity within our team, to become a team if we're not a team, for everybody to have an understanding of what the goals and the purpose of Ecola is. And then we get educated, we get the tools we need in order for us to be the best we can be to serve our customers and to serve each other. And so during that meeting, a lot of things I noticed and a lot of things I could see, and I saw how people showed up. Some people showed up and they were so tired that they fell asleep. Some people showed up so excited that they couldn't even contain themselves. They were so excited. And then there were those that were in the middle. There's some that participated and raised their hands because they'd get a gift on the back table, or because they just knew the answer and they were so excited they wanted to show that they had the answer. And then there was those that just put their hands in their laps and kind of acted like it didn't matter. But everybody shows up a certain way. And I learned a long time ago that I'm going to get out of anything that I do what I put in. If I study a little bit, a lot of the times I might get a C on a test. This is right back in school. Some of us are really gifted in this, and they don't have to study and they still get an A. I don't understand that, never will. I always had to work for my grades. I don't know where you are in that, but I realized that if I really wanted something, I'm going to have to put the time in. And I'm going to need to be intentional. That word intentional is so big for me. Because if I'm intentional about what I'm wanting to accomplish, it changes how I show up. And this is about how do you show up. Sometimes, even when I listen to an Audible book, I realize that sometimes I'm so engaged because it's so interesting. I'm like, there's really something there. And other times it's something I choose because it's something I need to learn, but I really don't have a passion for it. I find that I listen to the whole thing and realized I have no idea what I just listened to. Have you ever had that? Have you ever had where you spent the time but really didn't get the benefit of whatever that time was? There were people, there were employees that were at Acola that were sitting in the seat, but really didn't glean from all the information that was there for them to help them be better at what they did or do. And that's sad for me to watch because I vested time, sacrifice to make this possible for them. And their attitude was one that was less than thankful. And sometimes that has a lot to do with intention or desire. It's just waking up with a bad hair day or a victim mentality. Victim mentality is a big deal. And if you are feeling like the world is against you and that this and that and whatever, and it's always somebody else's fault, you have a victim attitude. If you feel like nothing's going your way, if you feel like, why can't they just do what they're supposed to do? I would ask you this thing. Whatever you said that they were supposed to do, ask yourself if you are doing that. If you're doing what you're saying other people aren't doing, are you not doing it? Are you doing it? It's much easier for someone to stomach or listen to somebody if they feel this person is actually accommodating or committed and doing all the things that are being mentioned. But if a person is not, if you're not, it's kind of hard to stomach to hear you say somebody else isn't. And so I'm just asking you to ask yourself this. It's kind of a self-assessment. And I have to tell you that during that meeting, I really got a good picture of where people were. I can go aisle by aisle and see people's faces and see who were participating and who weren't participating, who maybe were uncomfortable to participate, maybe because they just felt not confident. Or is it because they just don't care? There's a difference. And I can see the difference. Shoot, I'm so sorry. Keep trying to shut this off and it's not letting me. So in that company meeting, there was a lot of assessment done. There was a lot of things that came to mind. So what's good about this is it helped me when I went to the next event. So that was a 2-day event. And then I had Friday night, Saturday to pack and everything. And then Sunday or Monday, I actually hopped on a plane and I was going to this other thing that was for me. It was for me to get better at what I do and to ask myself, how do I show up? Sorry, I had to turn off my phone because that's pretty bad. There, it's off. So I want to go to this next event. This event is an experiential event. I had to fly many, many hours to get to San Antonio, Texas. And then we hopped on a bus after waiting 2 hours for everybody from all over to show up so they could use this bus to get us all to where we needed to go to this ranch. It was about a 45-minute drive. And so that was nice that they supplied the bus instead of us having to get a rental car. That was nice. And then we get there and exhausted, because we're definitely exhausted. And we checked in, got our luggage. They had rooms set up for us, and we had bunk beds, and there was 4 in a room, and people we don't know, and we're jumping into a room with 3 other people that we don't know. So how did I show up? I made a decision on how I was going to show up. I was going to show up open. I was going to love everybody and anybody that I met. I wasn't going to we pass judgment no matter what. We can't help ourselves. As much as I don't want to do that, there is a past judgment and assessment. I kind of like the assessment issue better than a judgment issue, because judgment's it could be a put down, and I don't ever want to do that, because everybody has something to offer everybody. And if you're new to the show, I just want you to say thank you so much for joining. It's no coincidence you've joined. And this is the Sue Fries Show. And you can go and connect with me by going to Sue Fries, spelled like fries, oneword.com. I would love to hear from you. I would love to hear what's going on in your life. If you need prayer, if you need resources. I don't have all the answers, don't even pretend to have all the answers, but I might have somebody that might have what you need. And so if you want to connect by emailing me, I'm the only one that reads it, and I would love to hear from you. If you'd like to be on this show and have an interview, and you feel that your story could be beneficial to others to hear, how God's brought you through and how you went through this, that, whatever, and here you are now where you are. Or you started a new ministry, or whatever God puts on your heart that you feel could be shared, that could bring hope and health to those that are listening. That's what this show is about. It's the pursuit of passion, purpose, and connection. So, are you in the pursuit of purpose? Are you in the pursuit of passion? Are you in pursuit of connection? I'm in pursuit of all 3 of those things and more, but those kind of encompass quite a bit. So then the next day they gave us the rules, that you have to show up at this time, you get to eat breakfast, and you need to be in your seat by this time. And, there's 53 people there. There were 2 doors that were going to open. They were very clear on the expectation. They were very clear on what they were wanting to have happen in what length of time. And what I learned there is it's hard to have people measure up or fulfill the expectation if they're not clear on what the expectation is. So if you're in a relationship of any kind, whether it's work, ministry, marriage, mother, child, everybody comes with an expectation. And it's clear that we need to be clear with the intention or expectations, or we're going to be disappointed. And whose fault is that? Is it the other person's? Are they supposed to read your mind? Or is it important that we're really clear on what it is expected so that we can deliver? Now, I think about that on all levels, like the business, okay? We go and meet this customer, and we do our inspection because we say that's what we're going to do, and we do it for free unless you're in escrow or refine. Then what we do is we will sit down and we'll explain, and it's up to the customer to say what is it that bothers them, what are their concerns, and then it's up to us to explain the processes that are available, what the cost would be, what the inconvenience might be, what the concerns are, and then based on that information, you as a customer would be able to decide which way to go, or if there's another question that needs to be asked. But that would be on you. Okay, we cannot read your mind. So in ministry, we know that we want to save lives. We want to have people know the Lord, to receive the Lord, and then grow in the Lord, not just stay as a new baby, but to grow and get mature in their spiritual life. So how do we do that? And as a church, how are we going to move forward in this to make it happen? In a marriage, there needs to be agreements. There needs to be a commitment. When you say I do, that's a commitment and a covenant. And then from there, what is important to you? Well, what is important to you? And maybe we should be having this discussion before we say I do. We want to make sure that those non-negotiables are non-negotiable. And we want to make sure that the things that are most important to us are on the priority list. And then there are things that we could be a little more lenient on. but those ones on integrity or being dependable and reliable and being there to support and be of help, and how they show up in your relationship and what that does to you in your relationship. And if you're in ministry, what does that look like? So all these things are important on all aspects and all levels of your relationship. So at this meeting for this week, that's one thing that I realized, and I knew a lot of that already, but I wasn't sure exactly how I was showing up. So there was an exercise. Well, first of all, we had to be in our seats within 60 seconds of them opening the door. All 53 people had to be in their seats with their notebook under their table, with the coat on their chair, with their hands palms up and their legs at a certain position, and they had to be quiet. And so how do you think we did? 53 people. Now, I have 80 people working for me. And I realized that in order to get what they did, it takes exercise, practice until we get there. But it starts with the expectations very clear. And so at my company, I came back and I'm like, okay, I have to be clear, very clear on the expectations. And doing halfway is not good enough. Doing whatever it takes is good enough. Whatever it takes to get the job done, guess what? You're going to get the job done. And that's what we needed to do as a team. We had to do whatever it took to get in our butts in those seats and be ready to go within 60 seconds. Do you know they had to get us up and out of that room? I think the first time it was probably 6-7 times until everybody got it. Because it wasn't just about me getting in my seat. It wasn't about me just being personally responsible for me. I was part of a team. And if one other person lost, we all lost. And that was a new thing for me. I thought if I'm responsible and I show up on time, that's good enough. And yeah, maybe it is good enough. But is it whatever it takes in order to get everything accomplished? No. It's not just about me taking care of me and being responsible for me. Oh, I showed up on time. What about you? I got on my seat. I was there. I was ready to go. But my neighbor wasn't. My next door seat wasn't. She didn't have her tag on, or she didn't have the notebook under her seat or whatever. So then I changed from me getting in my seat to watching everybody else and making sure they had everything and they did everything in order for us to, as a group, succeed. That was a huge aha moment, because at Acola, we need to be, all of us need to be a team, and all of us need to succeed. So if there's one person that's lacking, if there's one person that just really isn't on board, it's up to the team to get them up, or what? And that's what we're doing now, is we're going to be looking at that going, what are the expectations? What is it we're going to be okay with? You're listening to The Sue Fries Show. Sue Fries, spelled like fries, oneword.com. It is a website. Go there. Check it out. There is so much there for you. There are 3 pages of free I ams, who you are in Christ, because this whole program wasn't about changing things from the outside. It's about changing things from the inside. And the only way you can do that is by transforming your mind. You will be renewed by the transformation of your mind. And so we have to transform what we believe. How do you do that? That's not so easy until it is easy. And something that was brought up is, we come into this world and things happen, right? We have things happen. And when things happen, we create a belief system on why that happened. And it could be self-destructive as far as our beliefs of ourselves, as that happened because I'm not lovable, or that happened because I'm not valuable. Or it could be something external that had nothing to do with you, but yet you took it on as being something that was regarding you. So we have one set of sunglasses on, okay? So for those of you that are visual and you're on Facebook or YouTube, what you can do regularly on Tuesdays, is that right now I put black or tinted sunglasses on. So right now I'm looking and everything looks different. Everything looks different. And when I didn't have glasses on, they looked different. And when I have these glasses on, things look a little darker, a little tinted, and I might see things a little differently, which may be a belief system that I have that needs to be shaved off, like an onion. God kind of removes things from us like one layer. I think of an onion, and this goes way back, but when you've got a lot of things, baggage, you could call it baggage, when you've got a lot of experiences that have happened in your childhood, and you've created this bubble that you are in, believing this is who you are. And then what happens is you realize as you get older that things that are not going right in your life could be because of stinking thinking, I could say, but I would also say that it's the belief system that you created of who you are and why you are that are causing you to be held back from all that God has for you. And part of that is maybe victim mentality, is that this is done to me. And then we would ask you, what can you do about it? What is your part in this story? What is your part in this puzzle? And we work on us. So part of working on us is to take the glasses on that have served us so well. We take them off. We take them off. And then maybe we put something else on. We discover that maybe those beliefs that we had when we were a child, those beliefs we had when we were a child no longer serve us. And they're not truth anyway. So we put on maybe another pair of sunglasses or glasses. Now I put on yellow. I put on yellow, and these yellow, the tint of yellow makes everything brighter. And oh my gosh, it's a little happier. I'm a little happier because I've got yellow on, and it's affecting the lighting, it's affecting everything. But now I have a new set of glasses on. I see things from a different perspective, and the things that I was doing before don't serve me anymore, so therefore I'm going to change. And I'm changing by the renewing of my mind. I will be transformed. Not just changed, but transformed. This is life-changing. This is, how are you showing up? And there's so much more to this story that I want to get into, because I've learned so very much. And I want you to learn too. And this program that I went to, it's open to anybody. There is a cost involved and travel involved, but it's well worth anybody's time. It's personal development. It's having you show up differently and getting more out of every minute. And I don't know about you, we only have so many minutes. We only were given so many. We don't know how many they are. Could be any time. We could be off this earth. I mean, people are here and then they're not. So with that said, what are you doing with the time you have? Are you getting the most out of every moment, or are you wasting your time? Stop wasting time. Be the best form of you can be. And that's what I'm going to say to you, and there's going to be more of this subject matter after the break. This is part one of a part two program. And I'm on country, I'm on Christian, and I always want to bring the Lord into anything that I do because it is so much a part of me. So God bless, and we will see you right after this brief break.
When I was 2 years old, I had a life-threatening asthma attack.
And as a mom, I was worried. It was a big reason for pioneering our eco-friendly pest and termite treatments. With our dynamic selection of non-chemical and alternative treatments, we achieve effective results that fit the concerns for the health of your families, children, pets, and the environment.
From San Diego to San Luis Obispo, when you have a pest problem, call today. Ecola, powerful termite and pest control.
As gentle as a butterfly.
Thank you so much, Ecola Termite and Pest Control, for sponsoring this show. I am so grateful for Ecola and the team. Every individual matters. Every individual is valuable to us, and they show up a certain way. And I'm thinking with time that things are going to get better at Ecola, and not that they're not good now, but they're going to get better. And I'm so excited about the transition, the transformation that's going to happen with those that work with Ecola Termite and Pest Control. So it's very exciting for us. If you want to join the Ecola team, I would say go to termitelady.com and fill out the really simple application, and then you'll get a call. And if you don't, call us and we'll talk to you, and hopefully they call you. You're going to have a clean driving record. The jobs that we have, we go from San Diego to San Luis Obispo. So anywhere in there, and we are growing. We're going to open up some new offices, but I don't want to speak that until it actually happens as far as where they are. We're right now open to it, and we're looking. And so if you're anywhere in that vicinity or you can move, we're great with that too. But we would love to hear from you. We have about 20 opportunities right now. We have 4 promotions that have just happened in the last month, and we're doing new offer letters. And you know, it's just so exciting to see the growth, because people start out as a technician and they grow to go up this ladder, that they're clear of the ladder. They can go to this department, they can go to that department, and just wherever they want to shine, wherever they feel better suited. We want people to feel good about what they're doing, who they're becoming, who they are. And so with all of that, we will help them get to where they want to go, because as they get more educated, and they get more in tune with what they want and what they like, they're going to be better at it, and we'll help them get there. So thank you, Ecola. If you want to be part of this show, the Sue Fries Show, connect with me by going to Sue Fries, spelled like fries, oneword.com, and I will be happy to, I do. I'm the only one that reads it, but if there's anything you need, I don't have all the answers, but I will be there to help you, give you resources. And if you want to join our team, we'd love to hear from you with that. Or if you want to be on the show, if you have a story that you believe would be hopeful to those listening, then I would love to hear from you, so that we can see if we can get you on the air. That would be great too. If you're a company and you want to check out, we need sponsors for this show. This show's been on for 15 years. We've got a wonderful following. And if you want to just check it out, you heard that I'm in multiple different counties. And so we could go on the local station, the Christian Salem Communications station in that area, so that you're not promoting on people that really can't take advantage of the services you offer in the county you're in. We can do that too. We can do it just in the county you're in, so that you can service those people. And we can test the waters with you. And then once you see if it works or it doesn't, and I think it will, but if it works for you, then we can talk, and I can give you the rep for that area, so that you can go further with it and get more leads, because we need that as a business. Also, business to business. If you have a need for multi-unit complexes to be serviced, we have alternative treatments and regular traditional, and we want to make sure that everybody is taken care of. So I have these yellow, if you're watching live, which is on Facebook, Sue Fries Show, Facebook, or YouTube. I'm wearing these yellow glasses, which everything looks really bright. It's like really happy and really sunny and really bright. And on part 1, I was talking about how do you show up. And I just completed a week training on personal development. And part 1, I was talking about the beginning of it, and how when I came there, I just came from a 2-day of a company annual meeting, and I had so many observations that didn't make sense at the moment. And then as I went through this personal discovery, experiential personal discovery, I realized just how I could improve upon delivery, articulation, expectations clear, and raising my bar of how people show up for Ecola. Attendance, just being on time. And what's the consequence? What's the consequence for not being on time? What's the consequence? Because it hinders everybody. And we're supposed to be a team. So, we learned a lot about that. But we also I learned about baggage. I learned about things from my childhood. And I've done a lot of work, and I've come a long way with forgiving others and forgiving myself, which we all need to do that. Please, people, if you don't hear anything else, forgiveness is so huge as far as letting go of things that are not serving you anymore. But also just belief systems, things that we took on that really now it's not truth. It's not true, but yet we still believe it. And that's what the sunglasses are about, is that putting on another color of sunglasses gives you another view or vision of how things might be. Can you imagine? Just one of the things that you're using that used to work for you, that used to just really guard you or protect you in a situation, that now don't serve you the way you want to be served. So I'm going to read a couple things because I think it helps with this. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. That surprised me to read that. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. And I would say that every day I pray, Lord, help me be the light in the darkness. And I know that I have this restriction on me on how light I can be. And I just find it interesting that this was put here, because I wouldn't have been able to put words on it, but I think that I'm the ceiling in my own thinking, and I don't know about you. Are you the ceiling in your thinking? Because I've made it to this point. But am I thinking that's as far as I can go? You know, maybe it is as far as I can go, but is it as far as God can go in me? Absolutely not. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? Oh, I like that. What words would you put there? You are a child of God. Your playing small does not serve the world. Did you hear that? Playing small does not serve the world. Now, you might have thinking in there that is causing you to think small. We need to do something about that. We need to change that. We need to put on a new pair of glasses. There is nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people will not feel insecure around you. We are all meant to shine. All of us, you, me, everybody listening. We are made to shine as children do. We were born to make manifest the glory of God that is within us. It is not just in some of us. It is in everyone. And if you were standing in front of me and I was on stage, which is where I think God's leading me, and I'm already there, but I'm more and more, is I would ask that question, raise a hand. You know, is this for you? Do you kind of make yourself small so that you don't make other people feel uncomfortable? How many of you out there want to shine? Raise your hand. If you want to shine, if you want to let your light shine, shine bright. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give others permission to do the same. I never thought about that. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. When I went to this week, everybody was asked to give a definition or a words that would describe how this other person made them feel. They didn't make them feel it, but they felt a certain way with the presence, for instance, of me. And all of them would say the words that come to mind when they feel me, when I walk in the room, what they feel. And another person actually wrote those words down because it's kind of hard to hear them. You're kind of uncomfortable because they're all staring at you and you're, but it's okay. But they all gave words on how they felt, about your presence. And, people said things like powerful, intimidating, loving, kind, just all those words. I just read them again today just because I wanted to get filled a little bit. But it was all positive things. But then on another exercise, on another couple days later when we were more prepared to be honest about those negative things, is that people would also be asked to give the negatives of how they felt negatively about an individual that's standing right in front of them. I mean, you're looking eye to eye with somebody, and to be honest, to be truthful, is a great gift if it's done with love. And that's another thing we did. And in that, I'm like, is that, and then I'd have to ask myself the question, is that how I want to show up? Is that how I want to be perceived? Ask yourself that question. How do you show up? And how do you want to be perceived? Do you want to be perceived as shy? Do you want to perceive, and is that serving you? Do you want to be perceived as angry? I mean, do you smile? Do you not smile? How do you want to be perceived when you walk in a room? If you have a protective layer, you're going to use that protective layer to protect you from anybody trying or being able to hurt you. Now, there are a lot of people who have dealt with bullying growing up and everything, so they had to kind of put on this macho thing, be kind of tough guy, because if they didn't, they'd get beat up. And even when they did it, they sometimes got beat up. And so, there was males, there were females of all ages at this thing, and everybody was dealing with their own stuff. But they had the help of the team, the 53 people, to be honest. We made a commitment to be honest. We made a commitment to choose the qualities that we want to walk into. Because some of them aren't easy to walk into. Trusting people. I would say out of all the 53, I would say the highest percent of people had the hardest the hardest time stepping into trusting others. Why would that be? Because they had a childhood or mid-adulthood where people screwed them over. That they trusted them and then they got ripped off, or they got cheated, or they got trespassed against. Whatever it is, it wasn't good. And so they put this protective layer on to say, well, I couldn't trust that person even though I did trust that person. Now I can't trust anybody. And so now we go through life not trusting anybody. And how is that working for you? Very interesting, isn't it? Very interesting. And so there were so many different exercises, and there were some team ones. Like, another thing that really caught my eye is we spent 3 hours, and me being a maximizer, that drove me nuts. It drove me nuts, but I had to come to grips with that, is that I felt like it was a waste of time. And I'm like, okay, where else is that showing up? And in my business, I'm wanting to get through, what we're doing quickly. I want to do it right, but I want to do it quickly right. I don't want to spend a lot of small talk, about stuff that really doesn't matter. I want to focus on what we're trying to accomplish here, and let's get it done. And sometimes, for instance, this thing was about the qualities that the 53 people could agree to. 53 people agreeing to anything is a difficult task in any situation. But we were required, that was the expectation, is that we had to, as a group, pick the qualities that we were going to commit to. And so we came up with our mission, vision statement using the qualities that the group as a whole could commit to. That was huge. And that's like, we have core values with ECOLA. And I realized that we had our core values, and that's helped us a lot in moving forward, because people have to be in alignment with the core values. And we've changed them. We've taken one out, put another one in with time because it didn't serve us the best, or we found something that served us better. So with that being said, I realized that there were only a chosen few that were involved in this process out of time, right? But then I realized that there were certain people, for instance, the word integrity. Define integrity. Everybody listening, just take a moment. What does that mean to you? Now, I will tell you that I have a lot of Hispanics that they speak Spanish, and English might be their second language. They can speak fluent English. They can read, write, everything English. I just want everybody to know that, because they are supposed to be here. They have done what they need to do to be here. And they work for ECOLA. And we love them. We love everybody. With that being said, there were people that didn't understand the definition of integrity, so therefore they didn't want that to be a quality because they didn't understand the quality. So then we had to get clarification, and once we had the definition, that everybody understood the definition, then we could move forward with, well, do we agree with that definition that we could commit to that? And so I went back to our core values thinking, do I need to go back to that? Do I need to ask everybody their opinion? And I need to know, do they know the definitions that we're holding so true to our hearts and disciplining from? Dependable. I think everybody knows what dependable is. Being on time. Showing up with what you need in order to get the job done. If you're supposed to be on a conference call, you get on the conference call on time. There is no excuses. Your phone died. Well, why didn't you charge it? You have your own personal phone. Why don't you have the number in there? I mean, there's multiple things that we could say, oh, my dog ate my homework. But in all, if we really want to get something done, if we truly are intentional and we truly value, then we're going to show up on time, ready to work, ready to do whatever it is we're supposed to do. And there's so many in the organization that I think need a tune-up. We just need to tune it up. And we're going to set our bar a little higher, not a little higher, a lot higher. And there's going to be requirements and expectations, and we're going to commit to it together. We're going to be committed together. And then we can move forward in a much healthier situation. Because I have to tell you that on part 1, I was talking about the seating thing where we had 60 days to get in our seat, 60 seconds to get in our seats, 53 people, to walk through a door, put our water bottle down, get in our seat, put our notebook under. There was a lot we had to do, and there was 53 people that needed to get in their seat on time within 60 seconds. And if we didn't make it, we had to get up and do it again. And we had to do it quite often because we had to get it down. And if one person failed, we all failed. And I have not seen things like that with my company, our company. I have not taken as if one fails, we all fail. And if we had a company meeting right now, I would probably come back with a little different presentation, even though I came up with whatever it takes. That theme, whatever it takes, is different than even doing your best. Because if your life depended on it, I guarantee you would be in that seat and you would be on time. And everybody else, if their life depended on it, would be in their seat at the proper time too. But so often our life doesn't depend on it. So we go, oh, well, I wanted that cup of coffee. Oh, well, I knew there was going to be traffic. I just didn't know how much traffic. Not a good enough excuse, is it? Really? Seriously? I could go on and on about that, but you know what? We don't need to. Where are you showing up, and how are you showing up, and what is it you need to do differently? Are you complaining about what's going on in your life? Are you complaining about where you are in life? How long have you been there? Because I would say that you have the responsibility to change it. You are right where you are because you've chosen to be there. I would say some exceptions would be maybe if you have an illness and, cancer, or, you were in a car accident, you're in a wheelchair. I mean, you didn't choose to get there, but you're there. But in most cases, we are where we are because we've chosen to be there. So I want to be sensitive here, but I also want to be clear. I'm where I am because I've chosen to be here. Now, I either can be proud of that and like it, or I can say, man, I've been holding myself back. I could do so much more. Why haven't I? Why am I not doing more? Why am I not being better in this situation? Why am I not getting more people on board and understanding the expectations? And what is it I have to do differently in order to get that to happen? And there is a goal. There is a purposeful, intentional direction that I'm going to take, and that is going to help other people take it too. And this is the start, just verbalizing this right here with you. It's like, how are you showing up? And you might not understand what that question even means. But when you go out of the house, how do you look? What's your attitude? Did you give thanks today? Are you thankful for what you have? Are you purposeful in your walk? Do you have a goal for today? Do you have a plan for today? Or are you just going to do what you normally do, get in the car, go to work, come home, and, and not have an intention, not have anything that you want to accomplish today that's different from yesterday? That's just existing. It's breathing air. It's not really accomplishing what you really want to accomplish. Where's your passion? And it's not doing what God intended on the most part. Maybe sometimes we have to be patient and we're just waiting. But even in that wait, there's things that we can be doing that can be better for us and those around us. I'm a different person today than I was yesterday. Today's the first day of the rest of your life. And today you have a choice on how you're going to show up in any given situation. And I'd love to hear from you. Please go to my website, Sue Fries, spelt like fries, oneword.com. Check in with me, sign up, follow me, whatever. And let's talk. Let's talk about your future, the goals you're setting. And don't hold yourself back. Don't hold yourself back. Let's move forward in this. So I pulled up a book that I'm reading, and it gives you a morning and an evening, and I just want to read this because it's really good about right now, letting go of the past. I said this to my employees. I said, we have a rear view mirror, and the rear view mirror is this little tiny mirror, and it's over to the side, doesn't want to obstruct your view from going forward. But you've got the rear view mirror that you check every so often, and you want to see what's behind you. And then in front of you, when you get into your vehicle, which we all, well, not everybody, but most people get in. My guys drive trucks, and they drive all day. So this is really good for them to be reminded that every time they get in their truck and they're looking out their windshield at their future, and you only look in your rearview mirror once in a while, most of your focus is in front of you, your future. And you're sitting in the seat with your hands on the steering wheel because you're present in the moment. So anytime you get in your car, if you can remember this, that the rearview mirror is only to be looked at once in a while to learn from your past, to learn from what's behind you. Your windshield is where you're going. And it's big, isn't it? It's a big windshield. And then you've got your steering wheel to show and represent that you need to be focused in the now. So you've got your present and your dreams for the future. So letting go of the past, get rid of all bitterness, rage, and anger, brawling and slander, along with every form of malice. This is from Scripture in the Bible, if you are a Bible reader or not, Ephesians 4:31. It's telling you what to do there. Have you ever noticed that if you continue to hate someone, whatever that person did will continue to hurt you? Our anger and hatred just keeps reopening the emotional wounds of the past. This is one reason why we need to let go of the past and, with God's help, release our anger and hatred and replace them with His love. If you don't, our souls will be poisoned the rest of our life by bitterness and resentment instead of reflecting the love and mercy of Christ. Remember, Jesus' command, love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you, Matthew 5:44. Admittedly, this isn't easy to do, for sure it's not. This is why I urge you to turn to Christ and seek His forgiveness for all the ways you have hurt Him. When we realize how much we have hurt God, the hurts we have received from others will begin to fade. I hope this has been helpful today. And ask yourself this question. Look in the mirror and ask yourself, how am I going to show up today? Today's a new day. We can start fresh today. Don't beat yourself up. And awareness is so good for growth, right? We need to be aware. And when we renew our minds, we will be transformed. We'll be transformed by the renewing of our minds. And go to the website, push the button on IAMS, get those, read those morning and night, and you will be transformed by the renewing of your mind as to who Christ says you are. And whether you're a believer or not, this stuff works. I'm telling you, it works. Get it in your spirit, get it in your soul. You will be a happier person, forgiving those that have trespassed, and forgive yourself. If I can give you any advice at all, it's going to be that. It's life-changing, and I want your life to change, and God does too. Be a blessing to someone each and every day. God bless you. Until next week. Bye-bye for now.